Hey, gorgeous souls, it's Vix, and I'm here with your moon messages for the full moon in Sagittarius. Before we pull some cards, I just want to let you know about two very exciting things that are happening in the month of June. One of those things is solstice. I will be doing a workshop for the solstice for both hemispheres. It's just going to be we're going to do some light activation, some Kundalini magic. It's going to be very cool. If that sounds interesting, the link will be below. I also have an absolutely free manifesting masterclass coming up in June. So if you're interested in learning more about manifesting or just want to know more about how I do it, the link is below for that as well. In terms of readings at the moment, while I'm filming this, I do have some space for email readings this month if you would like an email reading. Otherwise, I'll be opening up again in the new moon for full soul readings as well, if that's something that you're interested in. Again, all the links will be below. Okay, so I'm going to do what I did last time, and I'm going to pull one oracle card and one tarot card to guide us through this moon cycle. I am going to use the Goddesses Among Us Oracle. This is the oracle deck that I created with Ellie Grant, published by Rockpool. I love this deck. I hope you do too. And I'm going to use the Modern Witch Tarot. I don't have the box with me right here, but it is this one that may look familiar. That's actually the picture on the box. Okay, so let's begin. You might like to take a moment to just check in if you're somewhere where you can do this. If you're somewhere where it is not safe for you to close your eyes, please do not. But if you can, I invite you to close your eyes and let's take a deep breath in together. So inhale and exhale. And just set an intention here for what it is that you would like to receive from this reading. Perhaps you have a specific question, something on your mind or your heart that you would like to put into this space. And I just like to set the intention that everything that comes through in this reading is in alignment with the best and highest good of all. And so it is. So as you do that, as you come to these YouTube readings, which I think are fantastic, but also kind of bizarre, we never used to do this. As someone, like myself who grew up as an analog child, and teenager even to a point, knowing that you could get a reading like this and just look on a video and be like, oh, we used to have the Pick a Card website, where you could go and get a free tarot reading and it would just like bring you up a card. But something that can be really useful when you're in this, in these spaces, is to just set an intention for what's your question. And then as you see the answers, or as you see the guidance and the messages come through, you can kind of think about, how does that relate to my question? Okay, so our cards, I knew it was going to be this one. And the reason I knew it was going to be this one was because it has a little mark on the back. So when it comes up, I know what it is before I turn it over. So we have White Tara. This is such a beautiful energy, such a beautiful, beautiful energy. White Tara, compassion, peace, longevity, and healing. So some really, really beautiful messages and beautiful healing coming through with White Tara. And then our tarot card is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is all about the spiritual teacher and finding your teachers and finding the resources, the teachers, the people in your life that bring you peace, compassion, and healing. And the Hierophant, so often for me, it comes through as a spiritual teacher, like somebody in the community, somebody that an author that you really love. It can be somebody along those lines, someone that you do classes with. But the Hierophant, can also just be your friends and people who are in your life. And we're actually in this really beautiful time right now in history as we move into the Aquarian age, where we start to realize that actually our teachers are really just our peers, and our students, if you are a teacher, like someone like myself who does do spiritual teaching, you start to realize that your students are also your teachers and your peers. We are all here teaching each other. So, a question for this full moon for you is, who are your teachers, and what are you learning from the people that are in your life? And it's a reminder that we can learn something from everybody, and that everybody can be our spiritual teachers, and that anything can be our spiritual teachers. And I also invite you to think about whatever's happening in your life right now, no matter how challenging or difficult, to consider, what is it teaching you? And that's not to say that what's happening in your life is okay, or that, if you have challenges, that you should just deal with it, do what you need to do to get out of those spaces. But if you can think about, what am I learning here? Sometimes that can be a much quicker way through and out to the other side of your challenges, of what's coming up for you. So just ask yourself, what am I learning? What can I learn from this? And then you try to learn the lesson, and then you can move forward. You can break through and move forward. There's also a reminder with the Hierophant that you can work with your spiritual teachers, you can read spiritual books, you can watch videos like this, but ultimately you are the one that has the answers within you. And so there's a message for some people who might be watching right now who have been asking questions over and over again. And I know I do this a lot, where I'm constantly sitting down and asking my guides, okay, what do I need to see? What do I need to do? And so often the answer is, you already know. You already know. We've shown you, we've told you, you're just not trusting it, and you're not taking action on it. So if there's something in your life that you have been asking about a lot, and you just feel like, oh, I'm never getting the answers to these questions, have a think. Is that true? What nudges are you getting? I always like to describe them as nudges, because to me it feels like sometimes my guidance feels less like, a beautiful angel that appears to me and tells me exactly what to do. And it feels more like a little kind of energetic nudge of like, oh, that could be something that might be worth looking into at some point, or oh, maybe that could be a direction I could go in. And those nudges can feel really subtle. So if you're if you're new to the spiritual path, or even if you're someone that's been on it for a while but needs the reminder, it's usually really subtle. Like when we get the guidance, when we get the answers to our questions, and we get guided on our path, it's very often very, very subtle. And it's just these tiny little feelings of, oh, maybe I should move towards this, or oh, I wonder what that would be like, or, oh, I feel like I should maybe do this, but I'm not quite sure. So there's a lesson here that we can learn, an opportunity to really kind of trust the nudges. I think in one of Rebecca Campbell's decks, she actually has a card that says trust the niggles, which is, that same kind of thing. It's these little messages that we're getting, these little guidance that we're getting, that we often kind of brush away, and we're like, oh, I don't think that's my guidance, but maybe it is. So another thing to mention here as well, is that Sagittarius is an incredible sign for change. So have a think on this full moon about what you want to see changed in your life. We have this beautiful white Tara, compassion, peace, and healing. Also, another really big message coming through about self-compassion for some of us this moon cycle. That's a great message for some of us all the time, for all of us all the time, really. to have compassion with yourself with whatever you're kind of going through right now. Don't be hard on yourself during this moon cycle. Never be hard on yourself, but right now it's really being amplified. It's really being shown to us that because this is a moon of change, things may be feeling a little bit like uncertain. You may be having some challenges come up. You may be having some things shown to you. The full moon shows us what we need to see. And a lot of people, I was just talking about this with a client, but a lot of people freak out at the full moon because it's too much, it's too bright, it's too intense. And that's fine if that's you. You know, make sure that you're looking after yourself through that. You're doing what you need to do during the full moon so that you can navigate through it. But the full moon also tends to shine a light on the things that we need to see. So when it comes to change, the full moon is showing us what needs to change. And so you can sit in this full moon and you can set those intentions and say, okay, I'm ready for this to change in my life, or I'm ready for this to change within myself. And as you go through these processes of change, stuff comes up to the surface to be seen and healed. And so it's really important at these times that we do have compassion for ourselves. And again, you know, talking about all of the niggles and the nudges that we get from our guidance, if you haven't been trusting it and you're kind of sitting here saying, okay, maybe that is my guidance, maybe I should try to like move forward with that, and maybe I should follow it and should trust it. Don't ever be unkind to yourself that you missed it, or that you haven't been listening. It's all part of the process. And I love to tell this story, but I got the idea for New Age Hipster about I think it was between 6 months and a year before I actually sat down and did anything with it. And I love sharing that story because sometimes I think, oh, if I'd sat down and done something with it straight away, I could have, gotten ahead, could have been like way further ahead than I was. But ultimately, it had to come at the right time. So you may be getting this guidance coming through. You may be getting these messages, and haven't been listening and haven't been taking action on it. But maybe right now is the time. It's the time. Like maybe you're ready. Maybe this is it. Okay, well, I hope that this reading brought you some blessings and some comfort and support and some things to think about as you move into this moon cycle. You can really take this reading, whenever you come across it. But yeah, for this moon cycle, as we're in this full moon and as the moon wanes and we meet again at the new moon, be kind to yourself, have self-compassion, cultivate self-compassion. If you're going through times of change, really, really just look after yourself and do what you need to do, and trust the nudges and trust yourself above all. Okay, that's it from me. If you would like to connect this month, all of the links are below, and I'm just sending you lots and lots of love.